morning, dear students. Today we are going to continue with our discussion of the poem The Gift of India by Sarojini Naidu. In this particular video, we are going to do stanza 2. Now, before we begin with the stanza 2, let us recapitulate in brief the first stanza of this particular poem. In the first stanza, or in the opening stanza of the poem, we saw that Mother India is personified and she calls out to the British who have colonized India and asks if she has withheld any of her riches from them, like garments, grain, or gold. She exclaims that more than these worldly riches, she has also sacrificed to the east and the west the lives of priceless Indian sons. She has given up the sons born out of her womb to serve the British cause in the First World War. So, this is what we did in stanza 1. Now, in stanza 2, we find that Mother India laments the loss of the lives of her beloved sons, that is, the Indian soldiers who were sent to foreign countries by the British to fight for them. So, we'll be discussing this particular stanza in detail in this particular video. So, stanza 2 of the poem: gathered like pearls in their alien graves, silent they sleep by the Persian waves. Scattered like shells on Egyptian sands, they lie with pale brows and brave broken hands. They are strewn like blossoms mown down by chance on the blood-brown meadows of Flanders and France. So this is what constitutes the second stanza. Let us first try to understand the key words used in this particular stanza. Here the poet says, gathered like pearls in the alien graves. Okay, what is alien graves? A reference is made to the graves of those Indian soldiers who are buried in foreign lands like in Persia or Egypt. Silent they sleep by the Persian waves, scattered like shells on Egyptian sands. They lie with the pale brow and brave broken hands. Pale brows, the brows of those dead soldiers, are pale and yellow because they are no more alive. They are dead. They have lost their lives in the First World War. They are strewn like blossoms mown down by chance. Blossoms means flowers, especially the flowers of a fruit tree. Here the poet has compared those Indian soldiers with the blossoms that are mown down by chance. Mown down by chance means they are destroyed or killed indiscriminately. Okay, mown down by chance means, you see, in order to make our garden appear beautiful, we trim the trees and we cut the leaves, extra growth of the trees in such a way that it looks uniform. But here the trees are mown down by chance. That means they are indiscriminately cut, which gives them an unpleasant appearance. So here mown down by chance actually means that those Indian soldiers were killed indiscriminately in the First World War on the blood-brown meadows of Flanders and France. Blood-brown meadows. Now the meadows that have turned brown from the blood of the soldiers. Now these are the key words. Let us now try to understand the poem, the stanza. Now in the second stanza of the poem, The Gift of India, we find that the speaker, who is Mother India, she sows the sacrifice of the Indian soldiers. These brave soldiers who fought and gave up their lives are now lying buried in mass graves in the foreign countries, the countries where they died. They were away from their homeland, and what is more painful is that even their bodies did not get the comfort of finally resting in their own motherland. The speaker says that they sleep by the Persian waves and scattered like shells on Egyptian sands. Okay, so they are scattered just like shells on some distant lands of Egypt. So they are lying buried in mass grave, and they did not even get the comfort of getting buried or resting in their own country. The speaker says that these dead soldiers, they lie with the pale brows and brave broken hands. And this particular expression, pale brows and brave broken hands, further intensifies the image of death and devastation. The bodies of these soldiers are scattered like carelessly trimmed flowers, that is, blossoms mown down by chance, in the battlefields of Flanders and France. Now, the poet uses the words by chance, and this particular expression by chance shows that according to Mother India, the soldiers did not deserve to die. That is the reason why she addresses the death of these soldiers as something that has been brought upon them by chance. They were young, so they did not deserve to die. Why they did not deserve to die? Because they were not fighting a war for themselves. They were fighting someone else's war, and they were young also. Also, if you see the other comparison, that is where the soldiers have been compared with the blossoms, that signifies how the motherland sees these soldiers as valuable human resource. And again, towards the last line of this stanza, blood brown meadows, expresses the horrors of war and war fronts in a rich poetic language. So, though it is completely contrasting to the idea of the poem, where the poet is talking about meadows, but this is an apt metaphor to describe the fate of those soldiers. Now, thus, if you see the second stanza of the poem The Gift of India, the speaker pictures or shows the sacrifice of the Indian soldiers made in the alien lands, and the horrors of war and war front is shown in rich poetic language. In this particular stanza, the poet makes use of imagery and metaphor to distinguish the sacrifice made by the Indian soldiers. So, if you will find that there are a number of similes in this particular stanza. The simile gathered like pearls and scattered like shells denotes the careless treatment that is given to the bodies of the Indian soldiers. Again, the terms alien graves, Persian waves, Egyptian sands, and Flanders and France in this particular stanza explicitly present how the soldiers are buried far away from their motherland, from their home, far away from their near and dear ones. The painful image of death and suffering is given in the description, lie with pale brows and brave broken hands. In the last line, of this particular stanza, the poet metaphorically compares the warriors to blossoms and the battlefield to blood brown meadows. So the soldiers are compared to blossoms, and the war front or the battlefield is metaphorically compared to blood brown meadows. And this comparison, it explains the anguish of the speaker who realizes that the soldiers died by chance fighting someone else's war. So, in this particular stanza, Mother India bemoans the fact that her children have been collected like pearls and shells in their foreign graves by the Persian waves, the sands of Egypt, and meadows of Flanders and France. They lie dead with pale foreheads, that is, pale brows, mutilated bodies, broken hands, and they are scattered like flowers cruelly killed by misfortune, that is, cut down by chance. So, these three similes that are used in this particular poem, they describe the soldiers. These Indian soldiers are likened or compared to pearls, shells, and blossoms. The choice of such comparison highlights the qualities of the sons of Mother India, and it shows the perspective of Mother India about her sons. According to Mother India, these sons or brave soldiers of India, they are precious, they are fragile, and they are innocent to her maternal self, just like pearls, shells, and blossoms. Now, the reference to Persia, Egypt, Flanders, and France highlights that these were the major sites or locations of First World War where Indian soldiers fought against Ottoman Empire, that is Persian waves. Indian soldiers fought in North Africa, Egyptian sands, and they also fought in Western Front, that is meadows of Flanders and France. This stanza, we also find that the poet has made use of alliteration to heighten the image of war and the sacrifice of the soldiers. Some examples of alliteration from this stanza are: silent they sleep. You see, S sound is repeated. Scattered like shells on Egyptian sand. Here also S sound being repeated. And perhaps the most prominent example of alliteration in this stanza is they lie with pale brows and brave broken hands. If you see, B sound is being repeated. So this alliteration heightens the image of war and the sacrifice of the Indian soldiers. Now again, the use of words like gathered, scattered, and strewn, they capture the recklessness and the negligence with which the dead bodies of the dead soldiers have been treated. The violence and horrors of war are captured by a powerful visual imagery towards the end of the stanza, when Mother India bemoans, laments how the soldiers have become like blossoms ruthlessly sheared and cut down on the blood-soaked meadows of France and Flanders. Flanders, which is now Belgium, a Dutch-speaking region. So this is all about stanza 2. So in the next class, we'll be doing stanza 3 and stanza 4. So thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day, and please do not forget to like and subscribe my videos. Thank you and stay blessed.